Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. Another unplanned video, actually. This was supposed to be an upload for a filter I'm building. And that filter is going to tie into an awful lot of the experiments I've been doing lately and some of the other work. It is an above aquarium filter, a planter slash algae filter, and it is sized to fit in the aquarium that I'm doing all the ammonia tests, because I do want to add it into the tests. I want to see how a pure algae filter, a pure planter filter, will compete with all the other filters in those tests. And then it is also, as I said, sized for that tank, so it is also its canopy and it has its own lighting system. And that was all what I was planning for today. My phone, on the other hand, had other plans and decided it was going to act up, and I cannot retrieve the data from my phone, put it on the computer. That is all in the process now, of course, of being fixed, and hopefully I won't lose that data. So instead, you're going to get an early preview of this big job I'm working on. This is actually going to be a video series, and I had intended on saving this to a little bit later when I was a little bit further along, so the videos would come closer together. But now is as good as time as any. This aquarium is really old. As near as I can tell, I built this 27 or 28 years ago, and the building style of it is actually kind of interesting. We're going to go into some of the detail of that as this progresses. But about a year ago, the aquarium started to leak a little bit. It wasn't much. It was in the upper left-hand corner in this video shot here. So I tried to do a bit of a patch on it, and I put that brace across the top just so hopefully it would hold together. But unfortunately, like I said, it's very difficult to reseal an aquarium that the seam is actually letting go on, and it didn't hold. It started to leak again. Again, not a big leak, and the brace really does help for that, but it was not something that was going to be able to keep going. So I had a chat with a client, and we came to the conclusion that it's time to do something new with this, and that's the thing I'm really excited about. I don't really like taking aquariums apart, but the rebuild is going to be really interesting. This is going to be a really large U-shaped paludarium, and it's going to have all kinds of features in it, and it's going to be built over the next little while, and things are going to be added into it, and life is going to get going in it, and it's like I said, it's going to be a nice long video series, and hopefully lots of interesting things in this. So, unfortunately, the first part is I have to take this apart. And the problem with old aquariums is the glass gets really brittle. I mean, I get requests quite often to, can you, reseal my aquarium? Can you take it apart? Can you rebuild it? And all that sort of stuff. And I usually say no, because it is a very big job and it's very difficult to get it back together again. But fortunately, in this case, the rebuild is going to be with completely new materials. So all I need to do, is take this apart and remove all the materials here and get it all set for that. And then, of course, I need to patch up the pillar and get that drywall fixed up. And before I get to all that, I actually want to talk about this style of build. Over 20 years ago, this is pretty much how I did my bracing for aquariums. And considering how long this has lasted, I really can't say anything against it, other than the fact that I just don't do it this way anymore. I like the new style better. But as you can see, there are 4 top braces here along the arms, 2 in the back and 2 closer to the front. And to put those in place, what I would do is build frames for each of them to hold it up. And I would set the frames in, the glass would sit on top of that, and I would silicone it to the inside glass that's next to the pillar, and then I will put on the 2 long sides, and then after the silicone cured, of course, I would remove those braces, and it was good to go. The other thing that's interesting with this build is the bottom. The bottom, the actual part of the tank that's the bottom, is 3 pieces, and there are 4 additional braces underneath that. One in the back, that's simply just keep the this part of the bottom level with this part up here, because the main seam needed to be supported, and that was silicone together. And then there was a large sheet of glass that went underneath that, as you can see, and that all got silicone together, and it actually worked really quite well. Again, it's lasted 27, 28 years, so there's nothing really I can say against it. And at the time, it was the only way I could make a U-shaped bottom. And if the rebuild was going to be done out of glass, I would probably do the bottom bracing quite similar to this. I mean, it has lasted quite a long time. I would do the top bracing differently. I would definitely go with the aluminum because I do like that style better. And I would probably do the external bracing for this tank different as well. But those are just minor details. But this is going to be redone in acrylic. So that means the bottom is going to be one solid piece. And that's actually going to be really kind of nice. It does come with its own issues as far as the weld up is concerned. We'll get to all that stuff much later on. So anyway, I just wanted to show you this because it's a bit of a nostalgia for me as well as I took this apart just to see how this all went together. And I just thought I'd show you guys. I mean, it is, like I said, a piece of history for at least from my perspective anyway. So getting this apart, I'm not going to really show you an awful lot of details of the actual work that's being done because it was grunt work. And I just wanted to show you the different stages as we went along here. I took off the sides, of course, because I need to get access to all the sheets of glass. And, of course, get rid of the filtration system underneath and all the accumulated stuff that happens when there is a place that you can put things that has a lock on the cabinet and that sort of stuff. So there you go. All that stuff's over there. And now what I need to do is start the arduous process of getting this apart. And because I don't care how much it chips, I just ran a razor blade down it and a rubber mallet. You have to be careful and, of course, wear protective equipment and eye guards and that sort of stuff. But this seam here was the easiest one to start with for obvious reasons because that was the one that was having difficulty. And there was enough of a gap there that this one came apart relatively easily. And then I started working on the others. And there were a couple that I was almost tempted to take a glass cutter to it. Let's put it that way. And then break the individual pieces and take the pieces out in smaller chunks. But fortunately, in the end, it all did come apart, and I only had to resort to the glass cutter once. But that was actually planned right from the beginning because there was one piece, you'll see in the clip coming up, there was absolutely no way I was going to get it out as is, and it was, like I said, it was just too big and awkward, and it did have to be trimmed before I can get it out. So these pieces are going to gradually come apart, and there's one thing actually I want to talk to you about again, I think I mentioned at the beginning, and the reason is why I don't do rebuilds for old tanks, and that's this here. Every aquarium I've ever come across, there's always one seam that is just ultra stubborn, and this one was really tight, and I wasn't obviously paying any kind of attention to the quality of the glass as I took it apart, but you can see all the shelling here, and even if I was trying to take great care, there'd still be enough shelling on that putting it back together, it would be ugly. It just wouldn't look nice. And again, I just wanted to show you that just to illustrate the reasons why I don't like putting these, doing the rebuilds for these. Almost there now. And as always, if you like this style of video, please like and or subscribe. And leave lots of comments to let me know what you think of this. So here we are. This is the final piece. Well, actually, final 7 pieces. But there's just no way of getting these apart. So what I need to do is run a glass cutter right down and bisect these. And then it's easier, obviously, just to take those pieces out. And all that's left after this is to unbolt the stand and get that all out of here. And then the floor needed to be a bit of scraping done on it. And of course, after that, cleaned up. And all I need to do now is patch the drywall. This part here is, believe it or not, the nicest looking part of the drywall, but I need to get that obviously fixed and repainted and everything before I get to the process of doing the rebuild, which will be in the next video. So again, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for putting up with this unscheduled video, and I will see you in the next video, and bye for now.